Hi there, and a warm welcome to the Aline with Aline podcast. Really wanted to be outside today and share this glorious experience in nature with you. And now it's the sunset, so I don't know how long this is going to last. Anyway, just want to say thank you so much for everybody who's been listening in, and please like, share, and subscribe. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Aline. I am an intuitive empath. I am a self-empowerment coach. I am an Akashic channel. I'm a natural channel. And I'm a metaphysics coach also. And the subject of the podcast for the last couple of weeks, this will be week 4, is my personal health journey. And the reason I'm doing this is because I really feel there's quite a lot of us going through a few things at the moment. And if it helps one person, wonderful. So to explain what happened and why I'm going through what I'm going through, it's to do with Western medicine, actually. And I was on corticosteroids. I was put on corticosteroids in July this year for, well, pretty much the doctor said to me, it's this or pneumonia. Because what had happened was my bronchial tubes had become so closed, there wasn't enough oxygen in my blood, and I wasn't feeling too well. And the only way I was told was that the corticosteroids were the only thing that could help me. The corticosteroids, and I've been looking into a few things as well recently because I really wanted to understand the immune system. So what the corticosteroids did was they stopped my immune system working because my immune system was just attacking. It was in attack mode. So the corticosteroids stop the immune system working, which on one side of things is great because it stops your immune system if it's gone into overdrive. But Western medicines, there's always going to be a little catch. So what actually happened was it's lowered my immune system. So any viral or bacterial infections are very easy to come by, shall we say. Anyway, let's talk about that in the past. This is just explaining where we are at the moment. And I just decided I don't want to go on corticosteroids again. I don't agree with chemicals. I don't normally have chemicals. I'm vegan. I'm celiac. If I have a headache, I won't have a paracetamol. I don't normally have chemicals. So for my body to then all of a sudden have corticosteroids and antibiotics and an inhaler, it was quite a shock. So I was going through like a detox, if you like, to get rid of the corticosteroids out of my system, without quite realizing actually what an impact it had on my immune system. And I was really looking into this the other day for me, just to really research. And I feel it's so important to really be autonomous with our bodies. And I looked up, we all talk about the immune system being lower or something attacking the immune system. And I actually looked up what it is. So I sort of hugely educated myself on it, if you like. And it's, as I'm sure many of you know, it's very, very, very complex. And the particular side of the immune system for me that has been affected is my spleen. And the spleen is the one that provides the blood cells that will basically protect us and provide protection from any bacterial or viral illnesses coming in. Hello, lots of moths around me at the moment using intuition. And so this is fundamentally what's happened. And I was looking at the corticosteroid that I was on, and I've been looking up various articles on it. And particularly with this one, I think it's called Pedanosa. I'm kind of trying to put it out my out my mind now that I was on. It's past. But this one particularly, it's the spleen gets affected. And when our spleen's not working, then it can affect all our other organs, because the spleen is a pretty important aspect of our immune systems and of our general well-being. So that's what has been the subject, if you like. And what's happened is certain foods. So I already mentioned celiac, and I don't drink alcohol either, and I'm vegan. So you would think that, healthy lifestyle, um, more or less, that I should be healthy. But what's happened is my body had, let's talk in the past, my body had become very, very toxic, because there was no immune system really to speak of to fight against anything that wasn't quite agreeing. And so any bacteria in my system, so in my stomach and my intestine, any bacteria in my stomach that was good was taken away, because of the corticosteroids, because of the inhaler, because of etc, etc, etc. So I've gone, a very long-winded way of saying it, but I've gone right back to basics. And I've, again, beautiful synchronicity, a family member met a lady who said, your daughter has to go and see this person, and I have. She's an incredible naturopath, and kinesiologist, and I'm actually going back to her on Thursday, because it will be 4 weeks then that I've started this whole treatment. And the reason that I wanted to come on every week is because I'm really putting my health first. I keep doing that. There's health first. And I wanted to share that. I mean, normally I would have some incredible special guests. What's happening is going through this process as I have to be really careful with my energy levels, because my vital energy was on the floor. So this is about building my vital energy up again and really taking care of any stress levels. And we all know about cortisol, how cortisol can get reacted with stress, and then a whole number of things can happen. So this is really about really, really listening to my body. And what I did today, because yesterday was another interesting day, just call it interesting. We've had the eclipse, we've had the 2 eclipses. I mentioned in one of the previous podcasts about that I was in a circle with the nature spirits, and I was asking about shadows. Excuse me. And I was asking about shadows, and the answer that I wrote down, the main one with all of us as a collective, is the shadow of feeling that we don't belong. Is the shadow of feeling that we don't fit in. And I spoke about this in the previous podcast. If you would like to listen back to that, it's going to get quite dark, so I'm going to keep this fairly short today. And so with the eclipse as well, I mentioned this in the last podcast as well. So with the eclipse, it's about closings, and I was talking about last week about blessings in disguise. So if there's something that really, really doesn't work in our lives, and we ignore that, the universe will step in to take that out for us. And sometimes that can look like a blessing in disguise, because it just suddenly goes. It could be relationship, it could be job, it could be house, it could be any number of things. So the universe puts us in a better position for us to fulfill our life purpose. And often at the time, it doesn't really feel like a blessing, which is why I call it a blessing in disguise. So in these times, be really, 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 really gentle with yourself. So what happened with me yesterday is I had another little bit of I could just call it blip. I've been taking everything that I'm supposed to be taking every day. I'm not having yeast. I'm not having onion. I'm not having cauliflower. I'm not having... Well, I didn't have it anyway, but marzipan came up, so I guess that's almonds. So, and I wasn't having almonds anyway because they came up before. And it's been a very interesting time, because all of a sudden, what my body was used to having, I would have my gluten-free organic bread every morning with my peanut butter, and thank you very much. It's not having that anymore. So my skin has reacted a little bit. My hair has reacted as this is all going through the, the cleansing process. So the kind of purging process, if you like. And what I said to myself as well, and trying not for it to be, let's say, an excuse, was I didn't want to kind of purge, because my body has gone through so much. It just has to be done gently. And what the naturopath was saying to me as well, because my vital energy was so low, we needed to go gently to get it back up before we went on to everything else. So I keep reminding myself of that. And I've just realized that the microphone wasn't plugged in. So that will learn me for rushing in and wanting to speak anyway with the sunset. It's beautiful. So I wanted to share that with you. Now, this week, like I said, it was really about listening to my body. So yesterday, I had a bit of a day. I felt very low energy, because what I've been trying to do is act as if, and it's good to act as if sometimes, but act as how I was before. And I was rushing around getting things done, and then all of a sudden I just had to sit down because I'd done so much. I got myself a little bit tired, and I don't want to err on the side of being ill for the rest of my life. This is just listening to my body. And all my body wanted to do was just for a moment, just to lie down. I actually fell asleep, and then I was okay. But that was what my body needed to do. And the same happened today. I was in a beautiful gratitude ritual this morning. And I was asking for, continued assistance in my health journey and in removing what doesn't serve me in my life. And afterwards, I was like an absolute zombie. And I took one of the products that I've been told. I haven't told you all about that one yet, because it does make me quite dozy. So I'm going to speak to, dozier than usual. I'm going to speak to the naturopath on Thursday, because also being highly sensitive as I am, it might be quite a lot for me to have this certain thing. So I've been monitoring that. So my message after I was in this very beautiful ritual this morning was, get a yoga mat. Well, for me, it's a Pilates mat because it's nice and thick because of my scoliosis, another story, and just lie down. And it was so glorious because we've had rain, and very windy. So I was lying outside getting vitamin D in my body, which was so gorgeous. Because the other thing I've been told is not to take any of the supplements that I was taking before whilst I'm going through this treatment. So I've been missing my vitamin D. I've been missing some of them, but it's to work out what doesn't work in my system. And I understand that. But I advise all of you just to get 10 minutes of sun a day if you can. It's so important. And if you can't get, the sun as it is, take some vitamin D supplements. There's some really good ones out there. So I just I was told to lie for 15 minutes. I think I managed about 3. So that was really glorious. And I just felt the sun on all of my skin, of just where it needed to go. And that was really special because it was just listening. And then I came back inside, I'm outside at the moment. And I needed to lie down again. That was what my body needed. I needed to lie down again. So again, I just lay down. I did actually try some gentle moves, some gentle Pilates moves, and my body was like, no. This is what we said today. You just need to lie on this Pilates mat, absorb the sun in. I did some very gentle movement stretches. And I actually listen to my body. My body wanted to go up. So at one point I had my legs up in the air and I was supporting underneath my hips. So my legs were up in the air, which was quite an interesting thing to do, but my legs just wanted to be up in the air. So yes, that's a good one, to lie against the wall with your legs up in the air. Anyway, the sun is down. The sky is getting darker and darker. So what I really want to say, and what the message that has been very strong for me, is about really listening to our bodies. And I also did a little process where I just had a little chat with my spleen. And when the beautiful vitamin D and the golden energy was coming through me from the sun, I just asked for it to go to my spleen. And I asked, and it's a beautiful process again by the fabulous Christos T. Perry and Foster Perry that have taught me. It's different colors in the body. So I was working with those colors with my kidneys and with my spleen, because that's what came up. The spleen came up anyway. I knew about that. But when I had a shiatsu treatment the other day with the same lady, it was my spleen and my kidneys, and my triple burner. So that's where everything just needed to move, so my lower back as well. And so that's why I just really, really felt today to come on and just to talk about that's where I am at the moment. It's not about pushing, it's about allowing. Because when we try and push and push and push, we're almost creating like a resistance. And I decided to go for a walk yesterday as well. So this is what happened actually. So I decided to go for a walk yesterday, and my cats follow me because we like going for walks together. And I haven't been for a walk with them for a little while, with the rain and with looking after myself. And I know I need to walk more, so that's what I'm going to be doing. Anyway, so we started to walk, and one of my cats, Tigray, he was a little distracted, and he dove into a bush underneath a tree, underneath a beautiful olive tree, and he was a while, and I thought, okay, what's he going to bring me today? He's brought me an owl before, he's brought me a mouse before, he's brought me numerous birds, and most of the time they're intact. So it's a case of, okay, let's take you, look after you, and then put you back out. So this time I saw this little creature come out in his mouth, and I thought, oh, it's another field mouse. So Tigray put the field mouse down in front of me, and I thought, it's really not moving. I don't know if it's shock or what's happened. So do we need to take the little thing in so it can recover from the shock? And anyway, so I touched the field mouse, and it felt really cold. So I thought, okay, maybe it's on its way out. So let's just stay and be with this little field mouse until she passes. And then we will honor and place him under the tree and say thank you for his or her life. And then, so anyway, so that was happening, and I was thinking, right, okay. And then all of a sudden there was a little movement. I thought, well, that's good. And then Tigray got excited because, cats, things move. And then I saw this really, 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 really long tail and realized that I'd been brought a rat. And he's never brought me a rat before. So once I got over, actually, I would call the collective, like, because poor rats get a really bad rep. And I was still staying with the rat, and then I saw a tick on my sock, and I thought, okay, I need to get out of here, because this is just a bit too much, really. I've got a parasite on my sock. So I just scooped my cat Tigray up, and my other cat came with us, and we went back inside. And the rat was fine, by the way. The rat was absolutely fine. It just needed to be left alone. So that's what we did. And I got my cats out the way. And rats are survivors. And so I realized that why Tigray was bringing me the rat was to remind me about how resilient we are, to remind me how much of survivors we are. And then I really felt into it, and I thought, I don't just want to be a survivor. I want to be a thriver. I'd like to thrive in my life. So it was almost as he was saying, Mummy, stop surviving and live your life. So like, okay, so this is what's going on. And then later that day, so that was the rat. And then later that day, I was like, okay, I was just dealing with some family admin. And then I was like, okay, I don't know what to do next. And I was sat with a cup of tea. And as I thought, I don't know what to do next, there was a massive thud. Made Tigray, my cat, jump. He was on the chair next to me. Didn't think much of it, and then I just thought, I really want to go outside. So I went outside, and there was a little bird. And the little bird was very still, just not lying down, but stood up on his or her, I found out her claws. And then I realized what the thud was. She banged into the glass window. So my message of what are you going to do next was to look after this beautiful little girl. So I took her inside, and it was just 15 minutes this time. She just needed 15 minutes. She stayed in my hand for 15 minutes. She did her business, then I knew it was ready for her time to go out. She was on my hand, and then she flew into the nearest tree. And then what that showed me as well was, I believe there's signs everywhere. And birds are very much about, our ancestors when they come to see us, and especially after the eclipse time and All Hallows Eve, Samhain, All Saints Day, Dia de los Muertes. So in the last few days, so it was very interesting that I was given a rat and then a bird. So the bird for me was about freedom. It was about allowing myself to be free. It's getting a little bit darker, so I'm going to stop this soon. So the bird was very much about freedom and about allowing ourselves to be free. Because this is what I want to talk about with illness, we can get ourselves into such a state of mind that we think, well, I'm ill, I can't do anything, I have to be locked in. We don't have to be locked in. We can sometimes do that to ourselves and put ourselves in a self prison, if you like. So what I would suggest, if you're going through anything where you need to be away from people, don't just lock yourself in. You can still be in touch with people, but make sure, this is why I'm doing this, but make sure you are still having connections. Yes, it's important to really put yourself first. Yes, it's important to really, really look after yourself, but not to the detriment of your human connection. So make sure you're still in connection with people, even if that's just on the phone. Don't necessarily have to be physically with them. If you have animals, there's your connection there for the touch. But make sure you are in verbal communication with friends whilst you're going through this. So real friends, I think I'm going to draw to a close because, don't really need to explain why. It's very, very dark now. So that was today's. Just wanted to a little update of what's going on. So that's been the message, is really listen to the body, keep the connection, appreciate the signs, be grateful, and let's thrive, not just survive. All right, so on that note, here's to your best health. So much love. Please like, share, subscribe should you feel, and I will see you very soon. So much love. Ho.